what I will say is that Benedict did his good hunching over here, but I still wanted blood.
Get it, don't be timid when you in it,
My name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related, and I am here to put you on. So welcome back to the channel, y'all. Welcome back. The way that I had to clutch my pearls in this last set of Bridgerton season 4 episodes, because Benedict dick you down, Bridgerton put in all his good work. Everything he done learned out there in them streets, he brought it back and laid Sophie down. But you guys, we're gonna go episode by episode in order of events and talk about what happened, how it ended. Spoilers ahead. If you're new, spoiling is what I do. So just remember that as we go forward. And let's start with my overall thoughts. So overall thoughts for the season as a whole, it was good. To me, it was much better than last season. Y'all know I have a strong aversion to Penelope, how she played season 1. I'm going to bring it up every time because it's still anyway. So I wasn't really feeling that. Kate's season 2, that was cute. I loved Queen Charlotte in season 1. Y'all know the Duke was over there. So I had a good time. Now, I wasn't sure because Benedict has not really been on my radar up until now. He was out in the streets, he was slinging ding-a-ling. But outside of that, I was like, I don't really don't so much care about Benedict, but they did a great job of making me feel something, whether good or bad. Because if I can be honest with you, Benedict pissed me off. Because go to your mama sooner and see about this love of your life. Let's not just try to make her a hoe and take her out to my cottage, our cottage. But nevertheless, they pulled me in. I was sad. I will say I wanted blood from Araminta. I wanted blood. I wanted blood on the streets. I wanted her to see her on her hands and knees in a workhouse scrubbing floors with a wooden bucket with holes in it. I wanted to see that, and I didn't get that. We reached an uneasy peace, a compromise, if you will, that kind of sealed everything over, and it was cute. We had tragedy over here. It ran the gamut of emotion. I'm not mad at this season. It's not my favorite season of Bridgerton, but on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this an 8. Absolutely. I believe this was a B grade. I was entrenched in the story. I wanted to know, although this was very much a Cinderella trope and a Cinderella story, I think they did fine with it. Was there a lot of hemming and hawing? Yes, but that's what Shondaland over there is going to do for us. It's going to frustrate. It's going to aggravate. We're going to get down to the wire and be like, will you hurry up? So that's just par for the course. But what was I ultimately overall satisfied? But I did want blood in the streets. That's what I wanted. But y'all, let's get into it. And like I said, we're going to start out with episode 5. And y'all know that Benedict Dick Me Down Bridgerton had just made a proposal of Sophie being his mistress. And listen, I can keep you according to how you need to be kept, baby. You won't have to clean no floors. You won't have to be up at 4 a.m. You won't have to do any of that, baby. I've got you locked and loaded. You're going to be good. You're going to be set for the rest of your life. And then, of course, we get into this real conversation around what that looks like for my life. Listen, and finally, at some point, we're going to get to some truths, but not right now. But definitely, what does this look like for my life? How can I just be your mistress and lay up? What about when you get tired of me? What about when you want to have a wife and have legitimate children? Where does that leave me? He's like, you should know me by now. I would never leave you in that situation. And the thing is, does she know you? You guys have just met. And so he's still pressing it and ultimately has a conversation with Mondrich, Mr. Will Mondrich, honey, fine black man over in the ton. And he is like, would you want to be a secret? Would you want to be somebody's secret? How do you think that made her feel when you approached her that way? Because up until this point, Sophie is very much like, no, I'm not going for it. I'm not going over there. At least now I have my reputation. I have a good reputation. I'm honorable, all of those things being a maid. If I'm your mistress, that ruins everything for me. And that was me. The audacity of it all. I'd be a ruined woman. What if I did have a prospect and want to get married at some point when I eventually tell somebody the truth? And so, anyway, Mondrich gives him some good information. Listen, you have to navigate her feelings. How would that make you feel? You need to have a conversation with her and let her know. And so, Benedict schemes to see Sophie. I need to talk to you again to be my mistress. And of course, she shuts it down again. Now we have Penelope. And I'm loath to speak on her, but she's sick of being Lady Whistledown. Everybody knows the tea. She releases an issue that exposes an existing mistress and basically ruins her because the man puts her away and now she has no prospects because everyone knows who she is. And Penelope's like, well, sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. And Penelope never gave a damn about anybody but herself, in my opinion. Herself, her husband, and that baby, that's what she cares about. Everybody else be damned, as we learned with Marina. Listen, she don't give a single damn, young woman. And Penelope kind of internalizes that, and we're supposed to believe that she cares. She really doesn't. I think the gig is up because everyone knows that she's Lady Whistledown and she can't go about spreading gossip and lies indiscriminately. Now, she feels so pressed because, of course, the queen is like, listen, you need to buckle down. I don't like these articles. I don't like what you're doing. I don't like it. And then Penelope approaches her. Hey, I really don't want to be Lady Whistledown anymore. I think Queen Charlotte's favorite word right now is no. Listen, no, you're my source of entertainment. How else am I going to get this good tea unless you're out there? And Penelope is basically like, you one's doing anything around me. I can't get the information like I used to because now everyone knows and there's this thing. Ultimately, I really wish that Lady Whistledown could have stayed a secret just with the queen and maybe Lady Danbury and no one else. But hey, that's how the story goes. And by the end, there's actually a twist on that. So Sophie overhears that Araminta is the new neighbor and she's starting to panic. And basically throughout the remainder of the season, we're going to see Sophie go back and forth about whether or not she's going to stay on at Bridgerton. I need to leave. She's too close. It's going crazy. And of course, Araminta inquiries because at the end of it, she's a cold-hearted whore. You know what I mean? And she just wants to ruin Sophie by any means necessary. And I hate it so bad. Now, when we get to episode 6, Benedict and Sophie, Benedict is determined to prove love is enough. And he starts setting up the cottage and even sketches our cottage because I believe this is where they went to the jungle. Sophie and Benedict, it was one leg up, left hand on frontal, spin it around, twist it, smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no. When I tell you he did the double, triple pump, pull out, reverse, back handspring in that thing. And when we're first ramping up to it, as she agrees to be mistress, tells her T, listen, this is what it is. My mother was a maid, right? And was a mistress to, didn't get into that specific, but listen, I don't want that life for my children. What about this? What about that? And he assuages all her concerns apparently, because the next thing I know, she is butt naked talking about go slow. It's my first time. He started out slow, but he ain't end up slow, baby. I'm telling you. I said, is this Bridget? Are we on Netflix? If they would have done any more, shown any more, this would have had to be somewhere else. This would have had to be on a site somewhere, I fear. Benedict. And then ultimately he talks about his other desires and his other experiences and that he has no shame. And she says, listen, love should never make you feel ashamed. So I'm glad that that's all on the table and they know who each other is and what they're going to do. And so now she's ramping up to come outside the city because baby, it's time to go. Violet checks on Sophie because Violet has been having this intuition about her anyway. She's so well spoken. She has an affinity to languages. She gives very educated. She's graceful. She's all of these things. I wonder if she's highborn. So she has sent inquiries out to find out who Sophie Beck is, who knows her, who her people could be. And now that Araminta is pressing the situation, Violet's like, I need to have a talk with you. Listen, this going around, she's saying you stole stuff. We found out in the market because Hetherington's old housekeeper now works with Araminta. And listen, he didn't pay me for all them years. I took them little cheap shoe clips and they were cheap at that. And I did what I did and I needed to go. So Violet is like, I can give you a letter of recommendation and you can take that and you can find another job and do whatever else. All this is happening. Sophie is afraid that she's pregnant. She's afraid that that one time because he went all around the ton. She's scared that a baby's on the way and she's not sure of what's going to happen. Ultimately, we find out she is not pregnant. And so she's going to be good to go. Violet is noticing that there is a bond between Benedict and her. She has peeped that very early on. Violet's very intuitive these days. Meanwhile, she's having her little thing with Lady Danbury's brother. But she's like, Benedict, you can't do that to her. You can't do that to her life. You can't do any of that. Anthony returns and ultimately confronts Benedict and is like, listen, do you want to ruin her? Do you know what kind of life that is? And we'll have to disown you. And I don't want to do that because I trust that you're going to make the right decision, but you cannot marry a woman without breeding. Now, Violet will later on have a conversation with him. If this is really what you want, just know these are going to be the rules. You'll have to go out the country. We can't be close as we are. We won't be able to see each other as much as we can because it could ruin the prospects for your younger siblings and their marriages. Sophie overhears it, and this is her cue. This is too dangerous. I need to just be done with this whole thing. I'm going to get another job. I'm going to take it. And that's a lot of it. We're going to see a lot of redundancy with her storyline throughout these later episodes because it's always like, I need to be in forward movement. I need to go somewhere else. This isn't going to work out. Now, Cressida comes back and she makes an appeal to Penelope because she is the new Lady Penwood. She ended up marrying well after all of the drama and her taking credit as being Lady Whistledown and ruining the engagement and all of those things. She begs Penelope to help her spread word about this ball that she's going to have. And immediately when the Queen finds out, when Lady Danbury finds out, because Lady Danbury is still trying to leave, we know that Lady Mondridge is going to be a lady in waiting and she's already stirring the pot over there. And when they appeal and bring that to her, that Lady Penwood is throwing a ball and she's in town and it's Cressida, the Queen is like, absolutely not. Why would I go there? And I don't want anybody else to go there. And Lady Mondridge has an idea. And she says, basically, listen, I think you should go ahead and accept it. And then right down to the wire, you don't show. And that'll show the whole ton how you feel about everything. I said, that's devious, girl. But I like Alice. But of course, we see how it all worked out ultimately. And Eloise making amends with Cressida. It was cute. The Queen finally gives Lady Danbury permission to leave by the end of this episode, which is special because I don't know if it's because she feels like Mondridge will take her place or if it feels like it's time. I've been holding on to you because you're the only person that I really have that I can connect to as a peer. And I don't want to let you go. But finally, she relents, and Lady Danbury is so excited. However, we know that that's not going to be the case. Now, during Cressida's ball, Ken is going to publish her final newsletter because after all of that and understanding the Queen and her life, Penelope appeals to her better nature and says, you don't like being scrutinized. The town doesn't either. Let's give them a reprieve and we can do this all at the ball, at Cressida's ball, all of those things. So that's the plan. Now, John and Francesca and the cousin, they're all here. Francesca and the cousin, there's been sexual tension the whole time. We knew that since the end, I think, of season 3. And it's only compounded. And Francesca's really on edge, especially because she sees that Sterling and his cousin have this incredible bond and this incredible relationship. I think they're the closest to each other that anybody can really be. And she sees that. And I think it makes Francesca uncomfortable, not only because of that, and because she feels inadequate as a wife, but also who is this woman who can just come in here and just be the life of the party and make her own way and shine and be bubbly, and I'm just over here in my own little corner in my own little chair trying to be whoever I want to be. Well, they have a moment. John is like, I'm so glad you and my cousin are friends. Yes, we're besties. We're good now. So they have a night of drinking and they have a good time. And John, she's like, I'm going to go. And he's like, we got a headache. I'm just going to lay down for a minute. John, don't wake up, baby. John gone. Killing another Black man during Black History Month. Y'all are not going to make me believe that this is not a concerted effort during this Black History Month 2026 to just besmirch Black History Month. With the stuff y'all are doing in media and TV this month, it is beyond. Francesca goes to wake him. He does not wake, and she is devastated. The scream that she lets out, Francesca, who really has a calm and mild demeanor, really lets out, and she is just completely in mourning. And I can't lie, I had to shed a thug tear in this moment because it was sad. And then immediately I'm thinking, is she gonna hook up with the cousin now? But it doesn't go that route just yet. But I'm waiting to ultimately see what's gonna happen. And he's got houses, he got land, unless you buying me land. All right. He's got houses, he's got land, he's got a seat in parliament, he's got all of those things that has to be contended with now that he's gone. So in episode 7, we have the funeral, we have her grief, we have her telling the people that she's pregnant. But baby, Michaela suggests having Scottish rites type of funeral instead of the regular funeral that they would have, a Bridgerton funeral. Benedict gives the final words, the eulogy, and it's beautiful. Sophie actually takes a moment here as her last day on the job to say, I'm going to work. And listen, Francesca, I see you need a moment. If you need any other moments, you give me a little wink and I'll spirit you away so that you can take the time to grieve. And also shares a little bit with Francesca about her own loss. Sophie has her exit plan and she admits to Alfie that it's torture staying in the Bridgerton house, and Lady Penwood has already filled the position. However, a new position is coming up for someone, but they are moving to the Americas, and you need to make your decision and be on a boat within the next 2 to 3 days. And she's like, well, all right. Posey warns Sophie that Araminta is looking for her, and Araminta has a feeling that Posey knows, and so she's already started following her around to figure out what's going on. As soon as Posey gets back and she and Araminta have a conversation, she's like, well, mother, you don't have to worry about her or chase her anymore because she's going to be a boat to the Americas shortly and she'll be gone. Why the hell did you tell her that? Because you knew exactly where that was going to go, Posey. And I love Posey, but that pissed me off. Since Francesca has told them people she's pregnant, the succession rules dictate that they need to verify if she's pregnant or not. Francesca agrees to the exam, and we know that Francesca wasn't pregnant. She breaks down about having nothing from him. Mother got to have 8 kids before father died. That's what she was left with. And now I'm left with nothing. Basically feeling like she's less than a woman because she couldn't provide that. And I get it. Back in those days, that was your sign or stamp of womanhood. If you could be a mother, if you could produce sons, and she wasn't able to do any of that, and really not having any tangible piece of him left is really hard. It's really hard. We also get later on that she really has no intention to marry further, that this was her one and done. He was the love of my life. I'm grateful that I had one. I don't want another. What that's going to mean for her life and how she moves forward, I'll be interested in seeing. They've made a lot of innuendo as far as who she's going to be and what she likes and doesn't like. And I'm just interested if it's going to be Cousin Sterling that starts and lights that fire. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with that. Violet confides in Mrs. Wilson. Mrs. Wilson reminds her that the children only need her love. Violet tells Benedict if he loves Sophie, these are the requirements. Time is not on your side, but choosing her will definitely mean a life away. And I've already touched on that a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see where it goes. So now, episode 8, Dance in the Country, which is the season 4 finale. Sophie's arrested, locked up. They won't let her out because Araminta is a low-down, skeezing, conniving wretch. And of course, she was making her way to the boat to get out of here, but now she in the jailhouse. And the man is like, listen, anybody who comes to speak for you, their reputation will be ruined. Araminta not playing with anybody, bookie boo. You just going to take this punishment and go on about your business. So the charges are that she stole and also that she impersonated nobility. These are the 2 things that Araminta is coming with. And Araminta can't wait. She's so excited. And thankfully, word on the street gets back to the Bridgertons because listen, what was she going to do? They were going to sentence her. The judge was ready to come down with that gavel because Araminta's a woman of means and status and all of these things. So she has her thrown in jail. She's like, basically, you're going to get life in prison unless you confess. And Sophie's like, you just want to ruin me. You've taken everything else from me. I'm not going to let you take that. And of course, we don't know where this is going. Posey stands up for Sophie in the moment, and Varley realizes Araminta lied. Varley tells Alfie, and Alfie and Varley rush to Bridgerton to tell Hazel. And the Hazel is our one-armed sis who basically goes to the Bridgertons and is like, come on. Violet and Benedict come rushing. As soon as the judge is about to let down the gavel, they're like, no. Let me appeal to your better nature. This is not what's going on. How much are the shoe clips? Let me pay for the shoe clips. No, she needs to pay. She impersonated nobility. Well, we'll need to find a barrister. But in the meantime, she is our household. So Violet comes lays it on thick because Violet gonna step behind her. And I love that. We got to see that earlier in the season as well, where Violet is like, no, this is not what you're about to do. All behind Sophie. I'm not going to allow it. Back up now. But I love this moment. And so the judge is fine, but I must insist that you work this out amongst yourselves rather than bringing it back to court. Now, we have to appeal to everyone. Lady Danbury finds out what's going on, that he didn't fell in love with a maid. Benedict, the bachelor of the season, has fallen in love with somebody, has his heart. We need to make this happen, but it's the maid. All right, Molly the maid. And so Lady Danbury talks to the queen, and I'm thinking the queen is going to be all for this because she loves a cute amount of drama, and this is going to be the thing that sends it over the edge. The queen was like, hell no, I don't give a damn. Molly the maid, I'm not interested in that. And Lady Danbury's like, meanwhile, Mondrian just concocting her whole plan when she figures out, and she's like, you know what, this will either make me even closer to the queen or it'll make her utterly cast me out, either which I'm fine with, because love is love and I need to make sure that this is what it is. Also during this episode, Benedict's slow behind finally finds out that Sophie is the girl in the silver dress. Duh. With the necklace. The necklace was the thing that did it. And my thing is, buddy, get yourself together. And so the queen is having a ball. So Mondrian has this elaborate plan that this is going to get Sophie and Benedict together forever. It's going to curry favor with the queen. It's going to do all of these things all in once. So Mondrian is working behind the scenes. Lady Danbury's talking to the queen. And remember, the queen knows this maid story. As far as we know, Mondrian sets it up so when they get to the queen's ball, because everyone's going to be there, she gets Araminta and the guns over there, and Sophie, Benedict, and Violet. And this is a meeting that no one wanted, but also in this episode, we discovered what the will really said. And that man left all the money and was giving Araminta 4,000 pounds extra every single month as long as Sophie was in the care. Equal dowries for all the girls, $18,000 a piece, and the heifer's been stealing it. So, Araminta, you're guilty too. And this is when I wanted blood. This is when I wanted her to be in the workhouse, because how dare you? But Sophie's like, I forgive you. I'm not forgiving that hoe. It's an evil witch who tortures a child. You stole everything from me. No, Heifer, you literally stole everything from me, Araminta. Are we living in the same universe? And even the daughters have to be like, Sophie was never the issue, mother. Sophie was never a problem. She was never a hindrance. She was never any of those things, because basically Araminta was stealing Sophie's dowry to add it to her favorite daughter so that it could be double. Crazy as hell. Anyway, everything comes out. Sophie, my father was a gun, but he was with a maid, all of those things. They concoct this story that Sophie's a cousin, that she's legitimate by birth, that she is in fact a gun, all of those things. The queen comes in right at the right time, and they give this concocted story that Araminta doesn't want to go with, but has to under the threat of jail, because now everybody knows your tea. So now Benedict and Sophie can be together legally, and she can have her virtue, she can have her name, she can have all of those things sealed with a kiss, and everyone's happy, everyone's moving forward. Now, as for Violet and her love affair, they were broaching marriage throughout these final episodes, and ultimately she says her kids are going to be the priority. What's going to result in that fully? Y'all drop it in the comments and let me know what you think. Is this ever going to happen? Y'all drop it in the comments and let me know. So ultimately, like I said, Lady Danbury and the queen, Lady Danbury can now go off into the sunset. The queen got some good kiki. She got some good laughs. And now she has Mondrian. And I think Mondrian will play a significant role in the future seasons. I feel like her intellect, her wit, how she concocted all of these things, how she stands out. I think she reminds the queen of who the queen was. And I enjoy that for all of us. Now, I think this is the first time in Bridgerton history that we have a mid-credit scene, and this is where we actually get to see a piece of the wedding. And Sophie and Benedict are officially married now. It's a beautiful addition to the family, all of those things. But we also get a new whistle down pamphlet. And Penelope is not the author. So now we have the question looming, who is the author? I want to believe that it's Mondrian, or maybe the one-armed maid, Sister Hazel. I'd be interested in that. I'd be here for that. Some people think Eloise. There's a lot of conjecture, but you guys drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Said overall, I enjoyed it. Was it my favorite season? No. Also, Michaela leaves off in the middle of the night. And do you think it's just too close to comfort? I don't know. And like I said, we still have up in the air Violet and Marcus. She's going to focus on her family, but I don't think this is over. I don't think this is over, but you guys drop it in the comments. Let me know what you thought of Bridgerton season 4 overall and the second half of episodes. Like I said, we got immaculate hunching. We got satisfaction in the end in terms of Sophie and Benedict actually get to be together and have a life. But we lost Lord Sterling, heartbreaking, but we have some other irons in the fire, and I just want to know who the new Whistledown is. But you guys let me know what you thought. Be sure to comment, subscribe, do all of those things, and I will see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching.